Good morning. It is Friday, September 12th, coming into the weekend. The weather's going to continue kind of in this cool pattern, but then we warm up pretty significantly as we go into next week. You'll see that in the computer models. A couple things to talk about today. The other day, 2 days ago, I rode up Mount Diablo because we had those thunderstorms up in Lake County, and I was looking at those on the radar. I was kind of sitting here going, what to do? And so I got on the bike and rode up Diablo and went out and took these pictures. By the time I got to the top of Diablo, the activity had moved because it took me, I hate to say it, it took me about an hour, 50 minutes to get to the top. It should take an hour 45, but I was not, it was, well, the dew points. I was sweating like a beast because the dew points were like 60 degrees, which shouldn't be. Dew point temperatures this time of year in that area should be in the 50s, low 50s, and instead they were in the 60s. So very humid. Anyway, I got these pictures. So here's the cumulus clouds. There was some severe thunderstorm or thunderstorm watches up towards the Butte County area, up towards Orville. You can see some of that in these overshooting or these building cumulus clouds, which I thought were awesome. And then I pulled up the radar as well. So I was kind of stoked. Diablo is awesome because you can see the visibility. It's just stunning, right? I mean, that's when they first came out, the French cartographers. The French were known for their cartography. I don't know if they invented it, but they were the best at it. So when the West opened up, the French used Mount Diablo as a point to triangulate, because I believe to make a map, a certain map, the maps they were making, you needed 3 points of contact. And the furthest you could see, I should know this, but I'm just going from 1970 memory in geography, but you get 3 points, right? So you get Mount Diablo, you get Sutter Buttes, and you get the west slope of the Sierra Nevada. So that the furthest you can see, that's just how far you can map. And at that point, God, I should check this. I'm not going to do it now, but I think at that point it was the largest grid that could be drawn. Let's check that. You can write in. So anyway, yeah, I got these, and then I also got this today. I'm kind of stoked. I was sitting around last night, checked this bad boy out. So I was kind of got nostalgic because in the old days, before the computer, we just had weather radios, which were awesome. So I had one in my Volkswagen van when I lived in my van. And I'd hit it every morning, and it was the weather service guys would go in a box, and they'd just read you, kind of boring, but not if you're a geek. It was like awesome. They'd go through all the buoys, all the sea surface temperatures, blah, blah. So I was sitting around last night, and I looked on Amazon, and I saw this. I go, I am so in. It's a weather radio. It's a flashlight. It's a USB charger. But I just thought, because sometimes I'll go places, and not sometimes, always, I'll go places, and I'm expected to know what the weather's going to be. I'm expected to know. And you know what? I owe that. I owe that to anybody because I made a great living being a meteorologist in the Bay Area on TV. So yeah, I should stay up on if people expect me to. So now when I was at somewhere the other day, I was doing that trip up in Montana and I didn't have access to cell phones or anything. And I would have died for this weather radio because everybody on the trip's going, well, what are those thunderstorms doing? In fact, during one of the nights we were sleeping out without tents. This is on the Selway River up in Idaho, Idaho. It's almost Montana. You fly in, it's a big time trip. And I got in the middle of the night, I saw lightning flashes all around, and we're all sleeping out on this sandbar without tents because it was a beautiful night. And I kind of woke some people up. I go, dude, we got to get the tents up because it was like big storms, just flash. Well, it didn't storm on us. Everybody the next day is like, seriously, dude, really? But it was the right thing to do because there were thunderstorms everywhere. But we fortunately didn't get wet on. But had I had this, that little thing wouldn't have happened. Okay, that's it. Now we're moving into weather. Here is the fog along the coast. We've got a nice weekend ahead. It's going to be pleasant all weekend. Temperatures, inland Bay Valleys, 80s. We'll get to that, but mostly 80s. The Santa Barbara and you guys will be in the 70s. It's gonna be a really nice weekend. And then next week it warms up a little bit. We'll take a look at that. But in the meantime, what we have now is what we're going to continue to have. Oops, I did not want that to happen. What I mean by that, what we have now, is the weather we have, right? The temperatures, the cloud cover, the whole bit. And you can still see that rotation. Right, see that down slow or downshore wind, or this, and then you see a little bit of a rotation here as that low moves off. It's out in the Nevada. Smoke, not a big issue today. And I hope you got a good weekend planned up. This is the fire check. Boy, the fire's up in, well, you can tell. Remember we talked about this. This is watchduty.org, but these gray areas represent containment. It's a visual clue. So when it's all grayed out, that's 100% containment. And that's what we got. We got 100% containment on some of these fires in Northern California. This one, this guy, these not 100% on these, but these are, over 50% containment. This guy, I think, is 0%. Oh, that's 28%. That's the blue fire. Yeah. Let's check out the Dillon. I think the Dillon is 78%. And then the log, maybe it's the log. That's what I was looking for, is 0%. So I'm going, okay, log fire, I get it. They're definitely controlled burning that. Because these areas, I talked to some of you guys up there, some of these areas in the Klamath National Forest, you guys scored rainfall, like a lot of rainfall. So so I think what they're doing on the log fire is, I shouldn't speculate, but I just, I'm sure they know exactly what they're doing in terms of letting it roll. Because again, over an inch of rain in those spots, that is awesome. That is awesome. I got a really awesome email from a friend up in, you know who you are, up in Lakeport. I know you're not a friend, but you're on this page, so we're all friends. And up in Lakeport area, and he was saying, hey, it rained. He goes, fire season's over, man. Now, I dare not be that bold to say that, because in my mind it never is, but I love that he got that kind of rain. He goes, oh no, it rained all night. So that's cool. San Luis Obispo fire, that thing they're getting a handle on. This is the fire up at the Garnett fire, which is the big one, 23% containment. So that infusion of moisture has helped. And here it is now. This is up towards Happy Camp. Let's take a look. Let's go 2 hours out and just see it. No rain showers, I don't suspect, but there's that. That's humidity. That's just raw humidity coming in. And that's really just, that's why the redwood trees are where the redwood trees are, right? The way their leaves work, this, but the leaves are able to collect this moisture, and the amount of water that one redwood tree can produce through drip, right? Because the leaves, the cloud grabs onto a leaf, condenses, turns into water, and actually drips down to the soil. So if you ever go up around Bolinas Ridge, which is notorious for this, on a foggy day, and it's a lot. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I want to do it right now. I know, sorry. I'm going to chat GPT this bad boy. How much water can a redwood tree produce from the atmosphere a year? And this is why, of course, the Muir Woods is where Muir Woods is, so on and so forth. Fog drip, we call it. Studies in coastal California have measured anywhere from 6 to 45 inches, a half foot of rain to 45 inches of rain, which is coming up on 4 feet of rain over the course of a year, not counting the regular rainfall. So they can produce it. So a little sidebar there, but that's California for you. This is down by the Garnett fire. What do you got? I was looking for something over anything popping through. That could be heat from the plume itself. The fire down in here, kind of seen, is kind of bubbling up a little bit. But overall, you see the smoke in the valleys. It settles down, and what you can also see is, we always talk about this, but that inversion gets, in the morning, the inversion is always shallow, typically, because in the valley, because the cool air seeps down and just sinks in the bottom. And then as the sun comes up, it starts to heat up. And you see, that's what I see here, is the smoke starting to kind of come, the layer, instead of being pinched down with dense smoke area, it's opening up. Just basic dynamics. So what do we got here? Let's see. We've got, thanks for letting me do the, I kind of want, the fog drip thing has always been fascinating to me. And I got a fog drip story. This is smoke, and this is right now. Let's do this. I'm in a mood today, you can tell, right? But it's the weekend. So this is today. And right, that's all high level stuff. My story is, it's not a good story, but it's just a story. This is Purple Air, showing you air quality across the country. And I like this just because it's, it kind of just gives you an idea of how everybody's doing. It'll populate. But one time when I was starting out, I used to work at CBS, at Channel 5. I worked with Wayne Walker and Dave McElhatton and Wendy Takuda Kate Kelly and Dr. Nancy Snyderman. All those people, it was really fun. They're awesome people. Ann Fraser, Ross McGowan. Channel 5 was the bomb back in the day. That was when I was starting out. But I got people at Point Reyes continuing education wanted me to come do a class on blah 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 on the weather of Point Reyes. And dude, I prepared so hard for it. Like I just because it's a whole day. It was like a 3 or 4 hour class, or maybe 3 hours. And I'm a young kid, and I'm trying to sound smart. Air quality, right here, and that's not bad. That's not bad for California. The East Coast looks good. And then Northern California looks awesome where that rain fell down, right? And then you get into the Gurnett fire. So I really prepared, because and I'm sure teachers feel this way all the time. When you're teaching something or trying to teach something, you really want to be the expert. And you want to be really smart. You got to be able to answer all the questions. I just over prepared. So I crushed it. It was awesome. But to this day, I feel horrible because they're the nicest group of people. But what I didn't do and what I didn't realize was Point Reyes, it was about getting out and moving around. So I just made these poor bastards sit in a class. There's only like 40 of us or something. And it was awesome. I mean, the communication we had great conversations and stuff. But I realized, because they were wearing I looked down at the end of the class, I go, they're wearing hiking boots. Read the room, Bill. They wanted to go out. They wanted to go look at the tree. And then you talk about the weather. I finally figured out and went outside for a little bit. I was like, I was so proud of that accomplishment because it was a really good class, and I thought content-wise, but in terms of execution, I should have gone outside and I should have gone just like we do here, right? And to this day, that's over 35 years ago, and I'm like, damn, I really let those people down. I know, so it's kind of a funny story because they're wearing hiking boots, and I'm like, wearing penny loafers or some stuff. Okay. This is Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe. If you hung in through that story, you're in for the whole thing. Ooh, camera's moving. Ooh, bitchin' clouds. South Lake Tahoe, some moisture. Harder to get those clouds to form over the lake, isn't it? Because the water's colder, typically. Not so much at night, but in the mornings. And then there's the fog. So a beautiful day around Lake Tahoe. Temperatures up there will be in the 70s. Congratulations to my buddy Mike Rodart, who runs TNT Construction out of Truckee. They do the concrete up there. He just became a grandpa. That's kind of cool, huh? Baby girl. Way to go, Mikey. That's going to be fun. Grandpa. I have a nephew and 2 nephews. I love them. I'm not like a grandpa to them, but it's awesome. Okay, so this is Point Reyes, Mount Tam. Oh, I see smoke here, right? Look at that. Interesting. Where'd that come from? We'll look that up in a little bit. I don't know how that smoke got wrapped in here. Definitely smoke. And the marine layer, kind of clicking slow here, but you can see the marine layer's a little more shallow. And then it kind of just goes away. It kind of lifts out a little bit. The marine layer, not non-existent, but you can see with the invert, the profiler, it's just like, wow, it's like a drunken sailor. It's like up, it's down, there's warm air, there's cold air. It's not established. And this is the time of year, pretty soon, we can say bye-bye to the profiler, which I know many of you will be happy until next summer when we look at it again. This is San Francisco's, these weather service pages. They do a nice job. They pick out highlights and stuff, and these are all the maps. This is bookmarked on my site, but you can get, all sorts of awesome stuff. I should use more of it than I do, but they have awesome stuff. And then this purple out here is a small craft advisory. But we could come down here. Let's say I wanted to do, they have fire weather stuff, the heat risk. I like national maps only because I love seeing why I don't live in Ohio or something. But anyway, there's all that there. Most of the stuff we look at, this is there. These are the forecast highs or the high temperatures for today. Brian Sussman pause, remember? I know. Sorry. He was good at it. 87 in Chico today. That's nice. Redding 90, so just touching 90s. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit cooler. Let's see what we got. Los Angeles at today is 78 degrees. Tomorrow they'll be about 78. Let's go tomorrow. little bit, was it a little warmer? A little cooler tomorrow, a couple of degrees. So it's a wash. But you see a lot of this heat in the desert Southwest is moderating as well. So we are definitely heading towards fall. And that text I got from you up in Clear Lake talking about the overnight rain, because a lot of you guys, when I get reports from you, you're not messing around. You're like, no, you don't get it, Bill. It's dumping. It's dumping. Like San Jose too. You guys had that not brief but significant rain event that was far eclipsed the rainfall accumulations in other parts of the Bay Area. And you know, it's your backyard. You know, oh yeah, this is going to help. This is the HRRR. And they're going to see something. This is this afternoon. But see the thunderstorms popping up down towards, that looks like kind of Bishop, maybe more towards Mono Lake. And then down, that kind of hits the, kind of looks like it's in Kings Canyon. Okay. And then, so still some instability, but not copious amounts. And then this guy here, this is Sunday morning. That's certainly some scattered showers for up there. I'm not seeing scattered showers for us. We'll see what the models do. These are the forecast high temperatures. This is the North American model. And I just wanted you to see the daytime high, the colors, right? So see the dark reds. So what is that? Let's just hover over it, 87. So, just kind of like today, tomorrow. And then we'll go to 24 hours. And we'll go, let's see, sorry. And then we go to Saturday. Same thing, 90s. A little warmer on Saturday. Is this accurate as heck? No, but it gives you kind of an idea of the trend. This is, as far as we go, same thing. A little warmer down here, like Bakersfield's up in the low 90s. But you see, it's a run of some pretty mild weather. I'm going to move this guy here because it is in the way. Okay, and then this is the, you know what this is. And we can see that big saggy trough. And then now you're going, well, what's this heat? Because you're going to see it coming up in the, so little ridge there. So this is kind of the weekend. See that pointy thing? And then there. So that's Sunday morning. So the weekend looks pretty good. Sunday might be a little bit cooler, but it's going to be pleasant. Like I just showed you, 80 Central Valley, Sacramento, you're in the low and mid 80s. And then this ridge starts to pop in. That's a pretty good warm up. That's a pretty good warm up. So that's, okay, so next week, let's see where we are. So starting on Monday, next week, through Wednesday, pretty warm. Can you see why? Right, because of that thing. And then it just cools down a little bit. So those temperatures, and you'll see that in the 6 to 10 day outlook, they want to go above average for that period. So this, I thought this was interesting. Now it looks like winter. Yeah, it looks like our first real rain. That's on September 27th. Is that happening? I mean, it's got all the cool stuff. It's got sort of a westerly trajectory. In other words, pulling moisture from a lower latitude, extratropical low pressure energy dynamics. Yeah, it looks really good. So that is on September 27th. So a couple things going on, but they're down the road. There's the parent low. Here's the baby low that's going to bring that chance of thunderstorms to parts of kind of the Kings Canyon, Bishop area perhaps. And then everything else looks awesome. Everything else looks good. Good thunderstorms down here. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Here's the flood concerns, flash flooding kind of thing, which is awesome for Oregon. Not that it's ever awesome, but it's, that fire, that's not going to be a fire problem. That they're going to get to winter in that zone. What I mean by that is the fire danger is going to be greatly reduced. And then here as well in Colorado. Okay, moving along. This is at above average, and you see it's from the 17th through the 21st. We saw that yesterday too. So that's that little ridge it pokes up. And so 17 through 21, which is right, it's going to go above average. Now, is it going to be heat wave? Probably 90s. I don't think we'll see any more 100s. Not based on what I just saw on the GFS, but it's going to be warmer. And then, average rainfall, if any. A little bit of monsoonal moisture perhaps here. We'll see. That's 6 to 10 day outlook as well. And then, What do I do with that? I was going to show you sea surface temperatures, but we're not going to. This Ocean Beach. I always have it. One of my least favorite things to do is paddle out in the fog. When I was a kid, I would paddle out, especially down here, second lot. We used to call it, down by the old pier where they built the outflow drain, kind of by Fleischecker's, by the old pool. Me and Aaron Plank used to paddle out here all the time alone, and days like that, and just hours and hours of fun for no money. Oh my God! And even though the waves they don't suck, they never suck, but he could have caught that. But it's just such an awesome feeling. Something about being immersed in the water and the temperature and having waves. This is Pleasure Point. It's tough when it gets small like this because it gets real crowded, and it's not a little different. But when the wave's right, man, Pleasure Point's awesome. And then this is Mount Shasta. Yeah, okay. Let's see what it looks like this morning. I think the camera's going to bump around on us a little bit. Okay, a little smoke. See that smoke up to the north, up behind Black Butte? And then look at that low-level moisture coming in. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah. That's beautiful. And that snow line on Mount Shasta, right? That's more snow. We talked about that yesterday. This is Whitney. I like these are the two tallest mountains in the state, aren't they? I think so. Yeah. I know so. It's weird about Whitney, though. No, actually, that's not true. I'm wrong, because there's a couple mountains as high as Shasta in this range. There's so many of them. Whitney just barely pokes above. So Whitney's the tallest in the state. And I think McKinley, if you go outside into Alaska, which is the United States, it's just not contiguous. And then beautiful cumulus clouds. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. Also, as I fantasize that we're going to see something cool when we're doing this, right? Like I don't know what would be cool, Bigfoot or something. Okay, and now we're going to the jellyfish. Yeah, I'm in a little mood today. I think it's a weekend thing. And the new weather radio, pretty stoked about that. Okay, so the weekend, we know what's going on. This I picked up. This is the, you might like this. This is the space station, right? The International Space Station. And this is live feeds from it. And you can see where we are on the Earth. Right here. We're coming into, I believe we must be going this way. Are we going this way? I should know this. Boy, it moves fast, doesn't it? But just at different times, you're of different parts of the world. Like if I were to come back here, and it tells you where you are too. This is the North Pacific. It's the largest, deepest ocean basin. All that doesn't look like the North Pacific, but it shows. Why wouldn't it? Because that's weird. Because right, it's showing us here, but this is clearly play during loss of signal. Oh, it's a replay. They lost the signal. I get it. Okay. Let's see if we got something different. But anyway, this. I think the space station is awesome to look at. I don't know, it's amazing. I mean, it's live. And beautiful. And I think it's 4K, which is amazing. They can shoot that signal so clean. This is Farallon Islands. It's going to be some sun. I think the sun's going to break through the Farallon Islands a little bit today. And then the Bears, I hate to say it, I think we're winding down on the boys. I really do. I'm bummed on that, but I got new stuff. What did I get? I didn't get anything great. I just got Venice Beach. I thought I got to find some. If you got any good live cameras, I got a couple that are pretty good, but the Puffins and the Bears were, and the Eagles. Those are just awesome, right? And now we're changing the season, so the Bears are going to go to sleep. And now I'm in Venice Beach, where the temperature today will be about 75. Sun's coming out. I don't know. Whenever I see Venice Beach, it reminds me of an episode of Chips. Remember Chips? Right? Because they shot, or Chips, or what's another, Baywatch. It's like they always make Venice Beach sort of their hub. And inline skating, like this nice lady with the thing, and there's somebody behind her with inline skates too. I'm like, who? I never see inline skates. I'm sure they're out there. And then I remember when roller skating was big in the park. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm rambling now. I hope you have a great weekend. Hope that was somewhat entertaining for you. I love the sandcastle. That's sick. He did that. That's pretty cool. Okay, you have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow's Saturday. I might do something tomorrow. We'll see how the weather looks. Talk to you then. See ya.